Welcome to Global Tax Talks Tax in 60 Seconds. I'm Will Morris, and here are some things to watch out for in the coming week. Expect to hear more speculation on where Pillar 2 is going. This follows the issuance of a statement by the OECD following the conclusion of the Inclusive Framework meeting in Cape Town. The 5-paragraph statement opened by announcing, a little strangely perhaps in the current environment, that 449 national government officials from around the world, not counting others from 11 international organizations, had attended the meeting. But it's the 3rd paragraph that's worth quoting in full. It says, open quotes, members recognized the critical importance of securing certainty and stability in the international tax system, in particular with respect to the implementation of Pillar 2 and ongoing Pillar 1 negotiations, agreeing to continue discussions in furtherance of this objective. Now, before focusing on Pillar 2, let me be clear that the Pillar 1 reference does not mean that the amount A MLC lives. It really doesn't. It means that questions around the mix of taxing rights, including in relation to market jurisdictions, remains unsolved, but the fact discussions may occur does not indicate any level of agreement. But on Pillar 2, the combination of that paragraph and the fact that the US Treasury attended/participated has been subject to, well, how can I put it, differing interpretations. Most prominently, the Financial Times last week headlined a story, open quotes, US engaging on OECD global tax deal despite Donald Trump's defiance. After quoting some remarks of the OECD Secretary General, the article went on to note/speculate, again in quotes, the comments show that the deal to close tax loopholes for big tech groups and multinationals could get US backing. Delegates from those countries said they held constructive talks on the agreement in Cape Town. That stands in stark contrast to the hostile tone Trump struck in a memorandum signed on his first day in office. Honestly, I must say that I don't perceive things as having changed in Washington. While it's true the US Treasury were there, and I'm told that they did speak, as I've said before, they were never going to pull out of this process, because then they'd lose any control over it if they did. I'd suspect their remarks were laser-focused on extraterritoriality and discrimination, as spelled out in the original executive orders, and the need to ensure that the US fisc and US businesses are not disadvantaged. Continuing on that theme, the EU announced that the high-level working group on taxes will meet on April 29 to discuss a way forward on the global minimum tax. The EU and some member states have, of course, been facing calls recently to suspend Pillar 2 and/or ensure that the US is not provoked into retaliation and/or that EU businesses are not disadvantaged by a US-only solution. And finally, on a slightly lighter note perhaps, an Irish practitioner has argued that for various reasons the Pillar 2 directive doesn't really bind member states, and therefore, under the principle of subsidiarity, individual member states can suspend Pillar 2 on their own initiative. We'll see. Anyway, thanks for joining me, and come back next week so that you stay global tax ready.